What Was That is one of two singles released in preparation of Lorde's fourth studio album Virgin that's set to release June 27th. To put it simply, Lorde is a pop pioneer that has been in the game for over a decade and played a big part in inspiring a lot of pop stars we see today like Billie Eilish, Chappell Roan, Sabrina Carpenter, and many, many others, but she is mainly recognized for being able to really give a sense of imagery and strike emotions within listeners with her poetic lyrics, her vocal style that she compares to sharing her deepest secrets with a friend, and also her unconventional production style. I also read that she has synesthesia, which is a condition that blends senses, like in her case, it's sound to color. So she's able to see specific colors when certain notes are played, which probably gives her a leg up compared to other artists in this genre. With the work she has already put out, she's nothing short of an innovator for a sound that we see popular today. And yet, with this soon to release album, she's looking to push boundaries even farther, with it looking like a complete contrast to her 2021 album Solar Power, where on that album she was pushing for a detachment from technology. In a recent interview, she admitted that she is now more addicted to her phone than ever, where the songs on Solar Power were considered to be generic and cookie cutter by Lorde standards. According to her, this new album is rugged, vulnerable, and messy, and even called the lyrics gross. She described this album as a complete rebirth, where she is returning to a really essential, pure version of herself and making sure that everything that goes into this album feels naked and youthful, almost like a school project. From the album cover being an x-ray of her pelvis, where we see her IUD, to the music video for What Was That was shot entirely on iPhone. In this video, Lorde is sporting a white half-unbuttoned collar shirt with some baggy navy jeans, and it's leaning more on wearing your older sibling's pants rather than the trendy baggy we see today. She also has on some black boots where one has tape on them and some dinged up AirPod Maxes, and for the most part it just seems very raw and the shots are kind of uncomfortable at times. In this video, we see Lorde in different parts of New York, so for the first half she's kind of just walking around, but shortly after that she ditches the headphones and hops on a bike to then climb up a ladder in a manhole to then end up running all the way to Washington Square Park Fountain, where she had fans waiting for her since she gave them a tip as to where she was going to be, and finished the music video there performing the song. Apparently this was shot on different days, but if I didn't know any better, I would have assumed all of this genuinely took place in the same day, and that's the exact feeling they're trying to give off. Even things that were out of the director's control, like the gloomy skies and the damp ground that lets you know it's the aftermath of a storm, helps play into the whole emotional atmosphere. It almost adds an extra layer of symbolism since the lyrics in the song itself reference the aftermath of an ended relationship, where Lorde is not only reminiscing about the fun time she had in this relationship and how much she misses this person, but also other aspects she was forced to face due to such relationship ending. With the first verse, Lorde helps to set the scene for this song and is basically monologuing where she is now. When Lorde's breakup took place, by May of 2023, she relocated to London for 5 months while she still had strong feelings towards it. During this relocation, she began looking inward on things in her life that she needed to set straight. One of the main things being that she had always chose someone in her life to be God, mainly due to the fact that her career started when she was so young at only 17. During this 5-month stay, she learned to love solitude. She grew to love doing things like sleeping and living alone. This first verse in particular takes place after this London getaway, when she returned to New York by the end of 2023, where she was still in that constant cycle of self-loathing. By Lorde covering the mirrors, she is avoiding confronting herself post-breakup. "I wear smoke like a wedding veil" goes with the last line and points to the phrase "smoke and mirrors" that is used to describe deception and trickery. "Make a meal I won't eat" is something that Lorde realized she had an issue with after her return to New York, her eating disorder. She realized how unhealthy her eating habits were and how they were controlling her life, and how she needed to find a way out, as she felt it would give her back something that she needed to do work. And while she says that it's still a journey, she does say that she was right and she did get something back by working to set it straight. "Step Out into the Street Alone in the Sea" is talking about the busy streets of New York. Lorde is basically saying that she is unsure on where exactly she fits in such a city like New York, where it seems like there's always something going on. This is another change work-wise from what she's used to. For her last album, she mainly resided in the remote parts of New Zealand for the peace and quiet. If you know New York, you know that it is the exact opposite of that, and as she described it, it forces her to be bolder and helps her to remember that she is an artist at all times. The last line, "It comes over me," leads to the pre-chorus where she says, "I'm missing you and all the things we used to do." Because of Lorde's unfamiliarity with the city, she begins reminiscing on this past relationship, almost like it's the only thing that'll give her some type of feeling of being accompanied. From here we go into the chorus, and it's important to note that at this point the gloomy and pretty minimal instrumental we heard during the first verse has now picked up and became this upbeat but still pretty minimal vibe that helps to show how riled up Lorde gets while looking back on the memories these two had together. And don't get it twisted, while this is her looking back on the memories fondly, this is her also asking herself what went wrong or what was that. The first line references an MDMA trip Lorde went on with this person. She's no stranger to the drug as it defined her second album Melodrama, and she also went through many sessions of MDMA therapy between 2022 and 2024 to get over her stage fright before she started her Solar Power tour. Following that, she looks back at an intense moment where her and her ex were kissing for hours on end, where she's asking what was that. It's almost like she's questioning if this moment was actually love or maybe just a high, considering how the relationship ended up turning out. She looks back again at a time where she was smoking a cigarette and said that it was the best cigarette she's ever had in her life, and compares that to how much she wants this person. She knows that this person is bad for her, but she still wants them, shedding light on the common dilemma almost everyone faces where you know someone is bad for you, yet you still want them. The next line, "Indio Haze, we're in a sandstorm and it knocks me out," references Indio, California, a spot that is hit with sandstorms due to its dry climate, but it's also home to Coachella. It seems like she's referencing a moment where she was affected by these sandstorms and got knocked out. And this doesn't sound like a pleasant moment, and Lorde isn't exactly looking back at it as such, but more so her just saying that in that exact moment she had no idea they'd end up how they are now, or that he'd never be enough. The next line says, "Since I was 17, I gave you everything. Now we wake from a dream. Well, baby, what was that?" This song is about her 8-year relationship with Justin Warren, a music executive that works at Universal. They initially met when Lorde signed to that label as a teenager, while Warren was 17 years older than her. This goes back to how Lorde always had someone older in her life and treated them as God due to her getting into the industry so young. Justin Warren was this person for a majority of her young adult years, hence why this relationship probably led to her taking a step back and looking inward for what was and wasn't working in her life. She then ends the chorus off referring to the relationship as a dream that she's woken up from, showing how unreal it is that it fell apart the way it did, before asking again, what was that? From here, we go into the second verse of this song that reminds me of that moment when you're faking scenarios and talking to that special person in your head and basically just wishing you can tell them what's on your mind. Mainly because as opposed to the first verse where she was monologuing, in this one she's talking directly to Warren. With the line, "Do you know you're still with me when I'm out with my friends? I stare at their painted faces while they talk current affairs." She's asking Warren if he knows that the relationship they had still weighs on her even when she's out with company. The following line is a critique to how her friends are talking about something as serious as current affairs while doing something that in this case is performative, like putting on makeup or always being ready for a social media photo. Next she says, "You had to know this was happening, you weren't feeling my heat." This line is one of the first moments of clarity where she realizes that the relationship was over, even while they were still in it, due to the mutual feeling that they weren't on the same page anymore. We get another moment of clarity with the line, "When I'm in the blue light down at Baby's Alright, I face reality." Then that goes into the pre-chorus which says, "I try to let whatever has to pass through me pass through, but this is staying for a while and I know it might not let me go." This line references Baby Alright, a popular performance venue, eatery, and bar in Brooklyn. She is saying that once she got to this place, she's been trying to let whatever emotions or feelings she has towards this relationship pass on, but finally realizes that it's gonna stay a little longer due to the impact it had on her and even may not ever pass. This is that sad moment where you've been doing everything right to move on from something, thinking it'll probably speed up the process as well, until something brings you back and you realize that this is nothing like you've ever been through, And even with time and self-care, there still may be a chance that it'll still linger in the back of your mind while they've already moved on with their life. The track ends by repeating the chorus, but this song went on to become her first US Spotify #1 since Royals, all the way back. So to say that people love this song is an understatement. This was actually my first introduction to Lorde since, for one, I work in retail and it's one of the few actual good songs that come on, and secondly, I seen the album cover and the music video for the song on TikTok. Nonetheless, I loved it so much that it led me down a deep rabbit hole of her whole discography and ended up lighting something in me to make a video on this track. I say all of that to say very few artists have the power that Lorde has to invoke such feelings and emotions with tracks. And with the way this album has been described, I'm sure she's going to reach a new level of vulnerability that her fans has never seen before. Nonetheless, if you enjoyed, leave a like and subscribe for more videos like these, and leave your own thoughts down below. Are you excited for this album, and what are your favorite singles she's released so far in preparation for this album? My name's Sam, and I hope you enjoyed.